3,000 years, one hill, 3 religions. More armies have fought over this city than any other place on earth. This is not just the story of Jerusalem. It is the story of what humans will do for the sacred. Welcome to City Origins. Around 957 BC, King Solomon completed the first temple on Mount Moriah, a hilltop his father David had purchased for 50 silver shekels. The temple was lined with cedar from Lebanon and covered in gold. The Ark of the Covenant, containing the tablets of the Ten Commandments, was placed in its innermost chamber. For the Jewish people, this hill became the holiest place on earth. It has remained so for 3,000 years, and that is why everything that followed happened here. The Ark of the Covenant disappeared. To this day, no one knows what happened to it. In 587 BC, Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon destroyed Solomon's temple and burned Jerusalem to the ground. He doubled the size of the Temple Mount, constructing retaining walls from stones weighing up to 500 tons. The temple was so covered in gold and white marble that eyewitnesses said it blinded you in sunlight. Herod's temple was the most magnificent building in the ancient world. It stood for 86 years. Then Rome came. Around 20 BC, King Herod the Great decided to rebuild the temple on a scale that would make it the wonder of the ancient world. In 70 AD, Roman General Titus destroyed the Second Temple and erased Jewish Jerusalem. The menorah was carried to Rome as a trophy. You can still see it carved on the Arch of Titus today. 1 million Jews were killed or enslaved. All that remained of Herod's temple was one section of the retaining wall. The Jews called it the Western Wall. They have prayed there ever since. In 637 AD, Caliph Omar entered Jerusalem peacefully. No massacre, no burning. In 691, the Dome of the Rock was built on the Temple Mount, precisely where Solomon's temple had stood. The golden dome that now defines Jerusalem's skyline was built on the holiest hill in Judaism, on the spot where Christianity was born. No square meter of ground on earth carries more history. On July 15, 1099, the armies of the First Crusade captured Jerusalem after a 5-week siege. What followed was one of the worst massacres of the medieval world. Medieval chronicles describe soldiers wading through blood. Christianity had retaken its holy city. It would hold it for less than a century. On October 2nd, 1187, Saladin entered Jerusalem. He had promised his soldiers would behave as the opposite of what the Crusaders had done in 1099. He kept his word. Christians were allowed to leave safely. Saladin himself reportedly paid the ransom for poor Christians. Even Christian writers of the time praised his mercy. The cross came down from the Dome of the Rock. The crescent went up. Jerusalem had changed hands 7 times in 1,000 years. It would change hands again. In 1538, Ottoman Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent built the walls that still surround Jerusalem's old city today. He reportedly ordered their construction after a dream in which lions attacked him for neglecting the holy city. The walls were completed in just 4 years. They enclosed the Dome of the Rock, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Western Wall, and the Via Dolorosa, all within the same small space. In many ways, Jerusalem still lives within these walls. On December 11, 1917, British General Allenby entered Jerusalem on foot, the first Christian to hold the city since the Crusades. One month earlier, the Balfour Declaration had promised British support for a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, while also promising to protect the rights of existing. It was one letter with two contradictory promises. The conflict that would follow has lasted more than a century. It has not ended. The Old City and the Western Wall was captured by the Jordanian Arab Legion. Jerusalem was divided. For 19 years, Jews could not pray at the Western Wall. The hill that had defined Jewish identity for 3,000 years was on the other side of a border, not for long. On June 7, 1967, Israeli paratroopers broke through into the Old City. Their radio transmissions as they reached the Temple Mount have become legend. The Temple Mount is in our... Soldiers who had never seen the Western Wall stood before it and wept. General Moshe Dayan made an immediate decision. The Temple Mount administration would remain with the Islamic Waqf. Jerusalem was reunified. The city fought over for 3,000 years remains, to this day, unresolved. The same hill, 3,000 years. The temple is gone, twice over. But the western wall remains. The dome of the rock remains. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre remains. Three religions still reach for heaven from the same small piece of ground. No peace agreement has resolved who owns this hill. No army has been able to hold it forever. And still, every morning, the call to prayer rises. The church bells ring, and the shofar blows. All at once. This is Jerusalem, and the city that has caused more war than any other on earth is also, somehow, still standing.